So welcome to Blender. Now this section is just a basic tour of the software itself. I'll be explaining how the interface is set up and how you can customize it. I'll also be giving you a tour of all the different editors in Blender so you can get an idea of just how insanely extensive your toolset is. Now although all of this might seem complex at first, you'll have gained so much experience with almost every aspect of it by going through this course. So by the end you'll be very familiar with how everything works, but right now just sit back and take a casual, no pressure tour with me. So in this first lecture, I'll just go over what you're looking at when you first open Blender, and we'll start things off with the splash screen here. Now this box pops up anytime you open Blender, and it has stuff like information on the version that you're using, as well as options to start a new file or open up a recent file. And to get rid of the splash screen, you can either press the escape key or just click away from it like that. If you want to bring that back up, you can click on the icon at the top left and then select splash screen. Now let's move on to the window layout. So the window is split up into different areas. For example, we have a main area right here, there's an area up here, right here, and one down here. And each of these areas has a different editor loaded into it. For example, the main area has the 3D viewport loaded into it, which we'll use for navigating our scene and working with 3D objects. Then there's an outliner up here, which tells us all the different objects in the scene. We have a properties editor, and then the timeline down here, which is used for animation. Now, at the top of all these editors are something called headers, which is this strip of options and tools. And there's one of these at the top of every header. Now, at the left side of every header is the editor type menu. This is where you can change the area's editor. For example, in the main area here, we already have the 3D viewport loaded in, but we can switch this editor to the image editor if we want to. And we can go back into that menu now and switch it back. So you can change the editor in every area, and that's going to allow us to customize things further. And we'll be going more into customizing the layout in the next lecture. Now, one more quick thing about the header is that sometimes they can have a lot of options, and if the editor is a lot smaller than the header is long, some of those options get cut off. In order to see those options again, you can simply middle click on the header and just drag it left and right. All right, let me drag this back. Now, editors might also have toolbars which are often hidden. The 3D view, for example, has two side toolbars. The one on the left side is already visible, but the one on the right side is not. And to know if an editor has a hidden toolbar, keep your eyes open for this little arrow icon on the right side of the border. If you click on that, it will expand that hidden toolbar for you. Then to get rid of it, you can click on the border, drag it to the right, and that collapses it. And the one on the left here, same thing. You can click on the border, drag it to the left, and now it's hidden. So keep your eyes open for these little arrow icons on the top left and right of the editors. That means there's a hidden toolbar there. And another way to access those toolbars, for some of the editors anyway, is to press the T key for the left side toolbar and the N key for the right side toolbar. This, however, doesn't work in every toolbar. For example, the timeline down here, if I press T for the left side toolbar, it opens up a different menu instead. So that hotkey is already assigned to something else. So in order to open this menu, or this hidden toolbar, we're going to have to click on that arrow. All right, let me drag that back down. Now, some editors, like the properties editor over here, have lots of different tabs to choose from, each with their own set of options and panels that can be expanded and collapsed. And each of these panels have their own set of options, and there's just tons and tons of options, and they're all over the place. But keep in mind, you're not going to need to know everything about the software in order to be awesome at it. And that's pretty much it for the basics of the layout. You have different areas with different editors that all have different tools and sometimes hidden toolbars. Again, I know the interface might seem complex at first, but that's just because it's new for you. You'll have worked with almost every aspect of it by the end of the course, so you'll be a lot more confident and comfortable with it by the end of this. So that's going to do it for this quick tour of the interface. Up next, I'll show you how you can customize the layout, which includes resizing windows, splitting windows, and things like that. So I'll see you in the next lecture.